No hay fracasos, solo
Hey,
lesiones por
yeah.
aprender.
Hey. Okay, Oprah Winfrey's your homegirl. Say it again. Repítate, por favor.
No
Repítate.
hay fracasos, solo lesiones por aprender.
You got
Ay,
that
me
right.
encanta. No hay creative. W woke, period. Consciously be aware what you saying. A, accents matter. Stress and expression, romance swagger. G, grammar check. Conjugate the verbs, use the right verb tense. A, tengo un secreto. Escúchame bien por un rato. Conjugate the verb, choose the right verb tense. Hey, hey, hola, 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 everybody. Hola, everybody, ¿cómo están? Espero se encuentren bien. Yo me llamo Jessie Feliz y yo soy la host. Yo soy la presentadora de Spanish Swag. Rest in peace, Nipsey Hussle, siempre. Que descanse en paz. That brother right there was beyond talentoso y muy espiritual. And, you know, que descanse en paz. And saludo a la familia de él. And shout out to everybody right now. I know we are in this time, this season. Es la última parte del año, fin de año. And it's a very emotional time for good reasons. And also, it can be un tiempo un poco triste para otras razones. So, whatever state you're in right now, I ask you all to just be thankful because we are only here si no fuera por nuestros antepasados. If it was not for our ancestors en los tiempos buenos y en los malos, you know, in the good times and the bad, none of us would be here right now. So aprecie lo que tiene ya en ese momento de tu vida. Sé feliz con lo que tienes and entusiástate con lo que quieres. Es una cita por Alan Cohen que a mí me encanta. Be thankful, be happy, be content with what you have and who you have, right?
You got that
And be
right.
enthusiastic for the things that you want. Grind for the things you want. And also recognize there will be some days cuando no te sientes bien, right? We're human. But to help us not stay in that state of feeling mal todo el tiempo or deprimido, you know, we want to be thankful and practice el agradecimiento, ¿no? Okay, so yo estoy bien feliz. Y recuerda, yo soy una persona feliz. I'm a happy person, pero hoy yo estoy súper, súper feliz porque uno de mis amigos, y él es un amigo nuevo, like he's a new friend of mine. We met each other por las redes sociales. So everyone's like, oh my gosh, I don't like social media. Well, there's pros and cons to everything. And if, again, I done already told y'all, if you show up to this place in space on that negativity mode, please, I don't deal with buenas vibras, period. So do something with that. But there's also light in the midst of like the bad things that we talk about and the bad things we experience. And with social media, I am so thankful that I have met an amazing soul. And guess what, y'all? Él es de Michigan también. And all y'all that know. Let me bring him on the stage real quick. And I wanted to give a big saludos for Senor Myron, aka my journey to fluency. Hola, amigo, ¿cómo estás?
Hola, hola. ¿Qué tal?
Todo bien, pura vida. Look, everyone from Michigan, the socials in Michigan, we're all raised like this. Where you from? Which part
The
of the
mitten.
state?
The
Right.
mitten.
Are you here or there? People that are, la gente que no es de Michigan are like, I remember cuando yo trabajaba in Baltimore and I was trying to say, oh, Detroit está aquí. Y yo asistí Western Michigan aquí. And they were like, huh? And I'm like, the mitten. Pero todo bien. Ok, primeramente, todo bien. ¿Cómo estás? ¿Cómo te fue la Navidad, tu vida, la familia, todo? ¿Cómo está todo?
Todo fue bien. No puedo quejar. Fue un buen Navidad.
Excelentísimo. Una Navidad muy buena. So, we are here with Myron. And again, please, por favor, follow him at My Journey to Fluency. And that is number 2. Not that number 2, the numeric number 2. Please follow him on My Journey to Fluency. He is on Instagram as well as on TikTok. And he has some amazing, amazing content. So, Myron, we want to know todo sobre ti, todo acerca de ti. What is this journey to fluency? ¿Cuándo empezó? ¿Cuánto tiempo habla español? How did it all begin? Where did it start?
Me llevo 6 años aprendiendo español. 6 years ago, I met a little Mexican lady. She came to my church and she began to try to get her family to come and get involved. And a lot of times when they would come, I would try to practice with them. And I knew like a few tapes. I had a tape that I bought a few years way back when I was like a teenager, and I began to practice
Now, when you say tapes, you mean like cassettes?
Cassette tapes, yeah.
Throwback. Okay. That's for all the young people. That's what we had before we had CDs, okay? Before the interwebs.
Right. And so yeah, I would practice the little things I learned. And before she came, it was a black guy I met at a church convention. He was from Texas, and he spoke fluent Spanish, and I was amazed by that. And that was my first little seed that was planted. But then she came and watered that seed, and now I'm on this journey. And my way of practicing was to get online and share my videos out loud. I had a little phone, little Android phone, and I didn't want to bombard.
Don't hate on the Android. I am team Android. I know we got these iPhone folks up here.
Yeah, I'm team iPhone now, but I had an Android back then.
Don't forget your roots. We talk about antepasados, right? Don't forget your roots.
Yeah, so I didn't want to bombard that phone with all those videos, but I wanted something that I could always reflect back to and, track my progress. And so I began to post openly right there on Instagram. And hey, we down the road now, and it's getting better every day.
Yeah, again, follow Myron. Please be sure to check him out at My Journey to Fluency. That's a numeric 2. And Myron, one thing that I love is that a few things that you just mentioned right there. First of all, you had this image when you met the Tejano, the black man, el hombre de Tejas, and he was Afroamericanito, no hispano, and he spoke both languages. So was that your first time, la primera vez de ver un negrito hablando español?
Sí, mi primera vez. Yeah.
And that's something that's not very common, that whether it's in las escuelas or online, we do not have, or like TV media, there aren't always that many images of, right, someone de herencia africana, that speaks Spanish. Now I will say we're seeing más y más y más, and I think that's just because now there's more of this wokeness that we want to talk about, la gente de herencia africana, la afro-latinidad. Like, that's a topic that we're discussing now, which is an amazing thing. But I know it resonates with me when you said it wasn't until you saw that image, in addition to the seed and the watering of the seed de la mujer, la viejita mexicanita, and you had that opportunity to practice. But it's very, unique to even see you, someone who's non-hispano, right? Aprendiendo, practicando su español, que es una persona negra. Like, that's unique in itself. So I want to give you saludos because you are doing some amazing things. And this is content that teachers, if you are profe de español, especially if you are serving in comunidades de color, right? There's no excuse. Show your kids images of people that look like them that are bilingual so that they can say, yeah, sí se puede. Yes, we can. I too can become bilingue.
Right.
So we recently had the opportunity to do a duet together, which I was so excited about. And you have some mad editing skills, and you just made everything look fantastico. We're gonna check this out briefly right now, and then I want us to talk, ask you a few more questions, like how did you start going specifically to like social media and like that. So let me share the screen so we can take a look at this. And if you are listening to this, again, follow Myron at My Journey to Fluency. Or también you can look at him on TikTok or on Instagram. So I'm trying to manage both screens. Okay, so here we go. Let's take a look.
Sí, regálame dos, porfa. ¿Cuánto cuestan? $10. $10? Caro. Hola. Did this Ninja Turtle just say that I was stingy and cheap?
¿Mande? ¿Las quiere o no?
Véndame una.
Aquí tiene. Okay. Bienvenido, buenos días.
Hola, buen.
Gracias, mi amorcito, por hacer esta actividad conmigo. And so I want to know from you a little bit more because, again, Spanish language learners, if you are a teacher, you have to capitalize in this era that we are in. Duets son muy populares and online, right? Like en línea, especially with TikTok. And just about 90+% of your students
If they don't have a TikTok, they know about TikTok. They watch TikTok videos. So, how did you really get into doing those type of duets online?
Well, I just, you know, when TikTok that became a big thing. Like I follow a lot of teachers, Spanish teachers, and different ones, and that was a big thing that they were doing at the moment. Everybody kind of got away from it, but it's something that I think that is very important because that's what I did. Like when I first started learning, I just kind of took advantage of the internet era, and that we had so many things at our disposal. Just right there, we can just begin to pick it up and run with it. So that's pretty
Y,
much.
y también, I remember you told me that on Instagram, you were in the midst of your journey, because it is a journey with the second language acquisition. You would post videos, and then native Spanish speakers or heritage Spanish speakers would DM you. And what did some of those conversations sound and look like?
Well, it was always constructive criticism. Like you say, speak like a native.
Yes, practice
uh,
with feedback. S speak like a
right.
native. Yeah,
And
yeah.
so it was always constructive criticism. Hey, I enjoy your videos, but you saying this here wrong. And back then I would always say familia
I got a
when it
bad
was
feeling about this.
familia.
Sí, sí.
And so it was just something that was tweaked and fixed for me, and now I can go on speaking better Spanish.
And Myron, what are some of the main resources? I know you use social media to make videos, but what are some of the main resources you use to actually learn the grammar and the vocabulary, the structure of the language?
It's a little here and there. Like I said, I follow a lot of teachers, and you find grammar. Spanish 101 was a big one when I first started. I would use a lot of their stuff. Then it was Spanish Butterfly. All the stuff was on YouTube. I would watch this and learn different grammar pieces and learn how to conjugate and all those things.
Fantastico. So I think will be really good, especially for all of our listeners as well as our viewers, is si podemos hablar un poco de en español para que ellos pueden. Lo siento, yo no sé lo que está pasando con mi garganta. Permiso. Ain't no Rona over here, so please don't think. I don't know, my eye watering now, my throat scratching. But
Todo bien.
Todo bien, gracias a Dios. Pero lo que quiero hacer que nosotros hagamos is that let's go ahead and switch and speak un poquito de español, so that, because the emphasis is on that swag, sounding near native. And along with the image of Myron being Afroamericanito, that's what drew me to his social media pages. It also is the way, la manera en que habla él. And I really appreciate that you are not just like on this journey, but I'm not a guru, but striving for excellence. That's what I'm saying. You're striving for that excelencia. And also, I wanted to point out, on your TikTok, in your TikTok profile, on your ¿cómo se llama? I just read it the other day, and I really, really love it. On your bio on TikTok, it says, what does it say? Being the best.
Be the best Spanish version of yourself.
That part right there, I absolutely love that. Yeah, be the best Spanish version of yourself. What does that mean to you? And if what you want to convey to people who are learning el español.
Don't have any limits to it. Always strive for excellence. Don't be okay with mediocrity, but try. Like you say, I'm not a guru, but I'm striving for excellence.
Yeah!
That's what we want to do. We want to strive for excellence.
Yes, and it's all about, I reference frequently Henry Ford when he said fail forward. And that can be something that makes people feel vulnerable. And so vulnerability can be like a turnoff, or let me get away from this. I don't want to sound a certain way. But at the same time, let's just be real. Roughly 22%, I think it's 21.6. I'll round up to 22. 22% of la gente americana es bilingüe. And out of that, the majority of people who are bilingüe por herencia. Their grandmama taught them, their mama, their daddy, their uncle taught them. Sadly, even though so many of us take 2+ years of Spanish or French or whatever second language, you know, so many of us we're taking language instruction, but there has to be a disconnect because when we have people exiting these programs and they do not speak with swag. So again, please, por favor, follow Myron online at My Journey to Fluency. Check him out. Again, you know I'm Jessie Feliz. Follow me at Jessie Feliz Plus. And so ahora vamos a hablar un rato en español, especially for all of our Spanish language learners, so you can hear us interact in the language. And I am the big one. I'm going to say that phrase again. I ain't no guru, but striving for excellence. Yo cometo errores, okay? I want to say yo hago errores, which would be the literal I make errors, pero we don't use hacer with errores. We use cometer. So there's many times I say, oh, sí, yo hago, because my American English speaking mind wants to say it one way, but I have to say, wait a minute, how is this, what's the meaning of this term expressed in a Spanish speaking way? Not just en español, but in a Spanish speaking way. So especially thinking about all the phrases that we have discussed thus far on the podcast, see if you can follow along with us, and let's get started. So, primeramente de nuevo, gracias por pasar el tiempo, haberse tomado un poco de tiempo de estar aquí conmigo y con todas las personas que me escuchan.
Es un placer.
Gracias, mi amor. Y, ok, tu nombre es Myron, pero tú me dijiste que tiene un gemelo, ¿no?
No tengo un gemelo.
Oh, no.
Tengo un gemelo.
Oh, okay. Gemelo means twin. Yo pensaba que tú tienes gemelo porque en algunos de sus videos, in some of your videos, es doble. Oh, okay. Tú editaste esas cosas.
Sí, claro.
See, his journey to fluency is fantástico. Oh, okay. Por eso yo pensaba que, wow. ¿Y cómo se llama la app que usa? ¿Qué programa usas?
Uso grabando videos de mi celular y tengo una aplicación, se llama Video Leap.
Okay. ¿Es gratis o cuesta?
Es gratis, pero si quiere más cosas, entonces tengo que pagar. You know?
Sí. Notice I asked him, I said, ¿qué apps usas? When that AR verb, I'm speaking directamente a él, I termina con la S. But then he responded, said, uso. Like you hear people say, hablo, como, leo, like when you're talking about yourself in el presente. Okay, y yo soy de Michigan, tú eres de Michigan, pero tú eres de otra parte del estado. ¿Cuál ciudad vienes tú? ¿De dónde viene usted?
Soy de Michigan. Soy de Michigan. Soy de Benton Harbor. Una ciudad se llama Benton Harbor. Y vivo aquí también. Y nací aquí también.
Sí, tú eres puro Benton Harbor, ¿no?
Claro.
Sí, y Benton Harbor está como 2 horas lejos de Chicago. Más o menos.
Sí. 2 horas.
Sí, más o menos, porque con el tránsito y tráfico,
claro,
es como 3 horas o más, ¿no?
Sí.
Y tú tienes hijos, ¿no?
Claro, 5.
¿Cuántos? 5 hijos. What? Round of applause. I already told Myron, he embraces being fruitful and multiplying on the real deal. Sí, be fruitful and multiply. Qué bueno. Yo tengo 2 hijos. ¿Y cuáles son las edades de sus hijos? ¿O cuál es la edad del hijo más pequeño hasta el mayor?
9 a través de 16. 16
años. 16.
Sí. 16. 6, yeah.
Y sí, 16. Está bien, tranquila, 16 años.
Claro.
Wow, ok. Tú pareces muy jovencito para tener un chiquito de 16 años. ¿Cuántos
Sí.
años tienes tú?
No. Tengo 37 años.
Ay, bueno, ok, pause. Ok, repítete, ¿cuántos años tienes?
Tengo 37 años.
Ok, everyone listen. Primeramente, ¿sabes una cosa? Ok, hay español, hay un estándar, right? Y hay estructuras gramaticales. When you want to speak about your age, someone asks you, ¿cuántos años tienes? Literally, ¿cuántos años tienes? Literally means how many years do you have, right? But we don't walk around. If someone came up to you in American English, said, hey, how many years you got? What, left in the joint or until I go somewhere? Like, what do you mean? It does not literally, that's the difference between transliteration and translation. Translation is let me take the meaning, what this actually means, and let me make it in a, like I said earlier, a Spanish speaking way. Like, how does that make sense? So in the Spanish language, we say cuántos años tienes, how many years you have, but that translates to English as how old are you? But if you look up each individual word, how, como, old, you're going to get viejo, which means old man. Are, you probably will get eres. You may get es usted, but it will be wrong. Pero I want to just give Myron un saludo because that's an example, right? I don't let this thing fail forward. You're like, oh my gosh, you're calling somebody a failure? No. Right? But he corrected himself. At the same time, let me just pull up Scott. Yo he trabajado en Baltimore y también en Detroit, Michigan y también en Houston, Texas. And working, especialmente cuando vivía en Texas, I have heard children, second, third, fourth generation, or, you know, there are people been here for the longest. So it's kind of hard to put a generation upon it. But I've heard people say soy, you know, de herencia mexicanita or de herencia hispana. I'll just say that so I'm not like singling one out. And that's because having lived here, right? That would be that Spanglish. ¿Cuántos años tiene? Oh, soy 32, soy 19, soy 21 años, you know, and so that happens and that's naturally. But what just happened on the inside? That's what I want you to explain. As soon as you said soy 30, you immediately corrected yourself.
Right. The English and the Spanish brain was colliding.
Yeah, but that's what happens, right? You know, it's un proceso, and actually, you're lifting weights on the inside when you're doing that. Think about when you go to the gym. Everyone's like, "Cool, ha." Well, you don't start off like that. Hay que practicar, right? And there will be days when you may feel blah or whatever, but you got to push yourself. And sometimes you may need someone to realign you, right? Or you have a resource like someone said, it's not familias, it's familias. You know, we all have the time, and you have to have this mindset to receive constructive. I don't really like the word criticism, Myron. I say constructive feedback.
Okay.
Because there's no one walking around here. I don't know. I always switch my British accent. And someone from the motherland of English, please do not fight me one day. But it just seems as if we always associate, you know, the British accent as being this astute or higher level of intellect. So I always resort to that when I think about people thinking, oh, I speak the American English language or English in a perfect manner. And when people come like, oh no, this is the one way that you speak Spanish, I'm like, please get out of my face. Please, please. Because, and Yama said, nan near, one of y'all up here speaks 100% perfectamente any language, because you would be a robot. And that's what it sounds like when you say, Siri, play this, you know, Alexa, play that. Sí, ok, tú tienes 5 hijos, tú vives en Benton Harbor. Cuando estabas en el colegio, ¿tomabas la clase de español? ¿Tomaste español? ¿O no fue ofrecido la clase?
Creo que sí, pero en este momento, cuando estaba aprendiendo, no tengo dinero, no tuve dinero en este momento. Entonces, por mi propia cuenta, estaba aprendiendo.
Ah, ya entiendo. ¿Y qué más podemos hablar? ¿Y qué te gusta hacer aparte de aprender y estudiar español? ¿Qué más te gusta hacer?
Um, quiero ayudar a la gente. Es la razón por qué estaba aprendiendo español. Quiero ayudar a la gente. Yo reconozco acá en Benton Harbor hay muchos latinos y no me gustan los barreres. Entonces, quiero conocer a la gente, quiero ayudar a la gente y um, es muy raro por mí, porque soy una persona introvertido, pero el español es mi pasión y it makes me open up, you know, I kind of
¿O me
open up when
hace? Ajá, te hace ser más extrovertido.
sí, sí.
So, sí, yo pienso que es una pasión para ti también, porque cuando tú hablas sobre el español, tu cara luce muchísimo y es muy interesante porque cada persona tiene su camino propio. We all have our own journey. Myron's journey, you can follow online, is my journey to the number 2 fluency. My journey es poco diferente. Y la cosa que me gusta mucho es que en vez de quejar, which when I asked you in the beginning, cómo te fue la Navidad y cómo está, you said, no me quiero quejar nada, like, instead of complaining, because for example, right now, a lot of people may have the desire, such as myself, to travel back to mi querido Costa Rica one
Costa
day. Pero
Rica.
con mis chiquitos no me siento muy cómoda de viajar por avión. Plus, I don't know what is going on in the world. It's like cada otra semana o cada semana hay otra pelea en el avión. ¿Por qué está peleando la gente en un avión? Like, what? Whatever situationship you got going on, why would you ever want to like get in a physical fight with someone while you are thousands, even sometimes 10,000s of feet up in el aire? Anyway, but while some of us may not have the opportunity to physically travel en este momento durante la pandemia to other Spanish-speaking countries, like you mentioned, there are many Spanish speakers that live here in los Estados Unidos con quien podemos trabajar o ayudar and work with. But one thing that Myron does is that he immerses himself in the language and uses the internet and specifically social media to do so. Una cosa que tú haces que me gusta, I'm going to pull this up so I can share it with us. I believe you were telling me about like palabra del día or vocabulario del día. What's all of that about? And you normally make a video. Sometimes I see you in front of a whiteboard. I'm going to pull up.
It's really random words. Like I'll be sitting around with my kids and I just know I need to make some more content. And so I'll ask them for a word and I'll write it on the board. And that's pretty much all it is. That's where it comes from, my kids.
Really? So do you teach your kids? Are you also teaching them Spanish along the way?
I use them as tools. A lot of times I'm speaking to them in Spanish. So,
and they're responding.
Yes.
Yes, I love that. A mí me encanta. So like that is such an amazing thing. Oftentimes there's like this it's called Bloom's taxonomy, where it is this basically like a pyramid structure as far as the top being the best way to represent that you've mastered content and down to the very beginning. Like I can identify words, then I can understand, you move up, then I can apply. But the very top is when you can create based off what you've learned, as well as when you can teach others. That demonstrates that mastery level. And so I think it's really awesome that you do that, especially sharing that with your children in an organic manner. And then also, whatever you learn, whether it's them giving you, the suggested words or topics, whatever you learn, you go right then and study the language, and then you make a video about it. That's you making that application so that it sticks. And so I wanted to take a look briefly at one or two of these examples of your videos, like you in the chalkboard with su traje. He always wears his like formal suit, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I'm looking at my teacher right now. It's awesome. So aquí es un ejemplo. We'll look at the one for bailar. Oh, le pongo audio.
Gracias por la invitación. Es una buena fiesta. Me gusta esta canción. Baile conmigo. Bailemos. Un pasito al frente, dando la vuelta a todo. Soy bueno de bailar. Así es como lo hagas. Ayer estaba bailando toda la noche. Un buen ritmo y estoy de pie. ¿Le gusta bailar? Baile conmigo. Gracias por ver.
A mí me encanta. A mí me encanta. Okay, so specifically this example, we can look up the word bailar. Bailar significa to dance, right? So how did you find, because again, people are learning the language and they are starting their own journey towards fluency. Where did you get the additional phrases from? Did you create them on your own, or what resources did you use for that?
Okay, like soy bueno de bailar. I used to practice with a lot of the Spanish teachers on Instagram, and I would say, yo puedo no puedo bailar. And they would say, huh? What's wrong with you, And I learned right there that, it's not puedo. You don't use puedo in that instance. You say bueno de, or soy bueno de. And
then whatever the infinitivo, whatever that root verb, soy
right.
bueno, or soy, and for a female, it'll be soy buena.
Right. And so, yeah, I learned that if I say puedo, they're going to think something's wrong with me, like I got a leg missing or something, but that's not the case. So it was soy bueno de bailar. So I knew that. So I would take certain things that I already knew, or I'll look up something to put on my video, or it's just little lessons that we know, and then it's add to the part where we may not know. So.
Yeah. Okay. So that makes me. Eso me hace recordar. And it's so crazy. It is a journey. I think I shared with you. I can look back. I've been making videos on YouTube that say 2010. And I can look back at some stuff. I'm like, ooh, I did not speak that with any Spanish swag. Like, what in the world was I doing right then? But then even talking about puedo, right? I have a video from cuando viví en Costa Rica, but I just want to put this out there. I do want to encourage, we want to encourage all of you, fail forward, right? So Myron had to say what he said in order to get the feedback from a native speaker, right? And have a mindful, like a heavy, have a mindset, a growth mindset to receive the feedback. Because sometimes we don't want to receive it and think, oh, I got this. And then we're walking around talking about Trace burritos. Like, get out my face. No, that ain't right. And so as a result, then now he's built that. It's almost like you add to your vocabulary and grammar toolkit, your language toolkit. So now you can pull that out and apply it to different contexts. So talking about puedo, I made a video cuando viví en Costa Rica, but you have to fail forward. You have to. Now, we were all raised that you ask, like, to be, to show, be courteous. You say, may I have, or can I have? I know my daughter right now, every now and then she want to flip the script, and I got to realign her and let her know, ¿Quién eres tú? ¿Y de quién es esa casa? Yo soy la mamá. Okay? You're queen too, but you're my queen daughter. Yo soy la reina, the real one up in this piece. Anyway, because that sassiness, yes, a 7-year-old will come to you, and I'm about to say, hold up, pause, let me make the right decision and not output what's already on the inside of my mind. So, with that being said, I remember having to multiple times when she comes to me a certain way, and she'll just request something instead of asking for something. And then it's to the point now where through practice, right? Practice with feedback. She gets feedback because I'm the mama and she's been disciplined, so she knows what's up. If she comes at me and is more like requesting versus asking me con respecto, I kind of just give her a facial expression now. And then I just say, como? Or you may say mande, right? Right. I'm like, como? And then she'll say, mommy, can I? So then she goes back. It's just a reality check. Well, when I was in Costa Rica and I was making this video and I wanted to order some food, in my mind, I wanted to say, can I have? Which would literally be puedo tener. I conjugated the verbs correctly. So if I want to say, can I have a plate with Caribbean chicken? Puedo tener un plato de pollo y arroz con pollo, arroz con pollo de salsa caribeña, whatever I'm ordering, right? Con plátano y una ensalada con una limonada. La mesera, the waitress, is going to understand what I'm saying. She heard me say arroz con pollo, plátano, limonada, ensalada. She heard my items, but the way I said it, puedo tener, literally was can I have or may I have, but that's not the Spanish speaker native way of
Right.
saying it. You actually just state it. You say quiero. You say I want what you want. And then of course you could have por favor, but it's more like quiero. And so me, I'm like, wait a minute, that's rude. I can't say quiero like I want. Imagine right now you with your family and you ordering some food and your daughter says, I want this. Or your son says, I want. We would check them like, hold up.
Right.
Ask, right? Ask, and you will fine. You cannot just up here receive. You don't just say what you want, but that I made that connection with what you were just saying. That's not always the case, and it's also cultural as well. But again, in mi casa, you better say I don't care if it's a transliteration or the translation. Don't talk about what you want. You need to ask, may I have? Can I have?
You got that
Okay,
right.
it's otro video. I'm trying to find the one that you did. Oh, this one right here. And I was like, dude, he has a twin. How could we help him con su español? Okay, ese video aquí. Wow, I need to download that app that you have. This is awesome.
Hermano, somos gemelos. Soy introvertido. Él es extrovertido. Soy casado. Él es soltero. Vivo en una casa. Él vive en un piso moderno. Soy una persona seria. Él tiene un buen sentido de humor. Somos hermanos y nos amamos. ¿Cómo sería para ti un día perfecto? Comenta abajo. Gracias por ver.
And look, you can even see right here. I don't know if this person, I'm assuming they were writing in Spanish, and this is such an amazing example of what I'm talking about. What you do is primero pensé que eran gemelos. Qué vergüenza, my bad. So someone is there like following along. Old man tree, cinco.
Oh, Chris. Oh, yeah, that's my guy.
And so responding to you in Spanish, also we can see the ha 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 is with the J's. And so I think this is so amazing. So how did you do this and what inspires you to do this right here? First of all, what app did you use?
No me acuerdo. La aplicación se llama Video Leap.
Okay, el mismo, okay.
Pero no me acuerdo porque crear este video. Pero la mayoría del tiempo es porque estoy divirtiendo, disfrutando el momento.
Sí, excelentísimo. And as soon as you said it, divirtiendo, so there's a quote by Albert Einstein, and oftentimes we think about Einstein, we think about science, matemáticas, STEM-oriented things. However, this is one of my favorite quotes by him. And one of my strategies that I do in learning Spanish, and again, I've been studying Spanish, estudio español por hace 20 años, and so it's not like a one-time situationship. This is an ongoing, just like again, follow Myron at my journey to fluency. This is an ongoing proceso. But one of the strategies, una estrategia que yo uso casi todo el tiempo, son el uso de tarjetas index cards. Oh my gosh, old school. You actually write things out on paper. Yeah. I know we like to type things or screenshot and copy and paste stuff. However, one of the most effective tools is to actually write it down because your brain, it communicates something when you are physically writing it down. Wouldn't you agree that it resonates with you more than if you just read it alone or just listen to it alone?
Claro que sí, that, and that's why even with editing and making videos, I'm writing down these things and I'm typing it in, and so yeah, it all affects the mind and causes us to process it.
1000%. See, and so one of my phrases that I absolutely love that I keep written right here, and what I do is I'm always writing new phrases, and they can be versículos de la Biblia. It could be text from the Bible. It can be a quote from Alan Cohen. This is a quote from Albert Einstein. And what I do is once I've committed it to memory, again, this is some more language in my now language toolkit that I can refer to, and it will also help me with sentence structure because I can recall a statement that I've already committed to memory and then use that and embed that when I'm having a conversation with someone in the target language or when I'm reading or writing. Then once I've committed to memory and it's just like, all right, I may put it to the side. But then the ones that really, really resonate with me on like a holistic level, I keep them up for like daily regular reminders. And so this is one of those phrases that I keep up right here as a daily reminder. And this one is by Albert Einstein. Y dice, creativity is intelligence having fun. La creatividad es la inteligencia divirtiéndose.
Muy bien.
Isn't it crazy? As much as we learn about we're always taught like the creative side of your brain versus the analytical side. And then we say, oh, you're like a humanities, you're an artsy person versus you're a logical, math, science. But really, one of the greatest minds to ever walk the earth said, la creatividad, creativity is just tu inteligencia divirtiéndose, having fun with the intellect that you already have.
Right.
And so I want to really, 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 I'm going to keep promoting this and I'm going to keep doing it because that's what I do. And it's my show, so I'm going to do what I do. I really want to encourage everyone, please check out My Journey to Fluency, whether you are just beginning your journey along your second language acquisition, or if you have children and you want a role model in this Black and bilingual Spanish swag, woke bilingualism world. This is someone who you should follow because he is definitely having fun with la competencia, with the knowledge that he's acquiring, with the language that he's acquiring. He's not keeping it in like a little cajita and use it one day a week or only certain instances. And I think that really helps it stick. Myron, do you have any final words that you want to share with anybody or leave us with?
No hay fracasos, solo lesiones para aprender.
Everybody put your hands in the air.
Okay, Oprah Winfrey's your homegirl. Say it again. Repítate, por favor. Repítate.
No hay fracasos, solo lesiones por aprender.
A mí me encanta. No hay fracasos. Okay, so I would say you have to bridge what Henry Ford said and with what Oprah said. I think Oprah brings it like, no hay fracasos. There aren't failures. It's just lessons to be learned. You have to learn. Hay que aprender. We have to have a growth mindset. And that's en todo lo que haces. That is not just in language. That's just like por lo general in la vida. But at the same time, those lessons to be learned only come from you failing forward. Like you actually practicing and being okay with, hey, I might make an error. Because we do it in our native language all the time. Like, who's walking around with a checklist? Oh, no, you ended that sentence with a preposition X. No, like, who is doing that? And first of all, there's some archaic principles that aren't even applicable because no one says, from whence do you come? Everyone says, where are you from? I have not met a single person in an interview, in a board meeting, at some professional conference that says, from whence come you? Everyone says, where are you from? Right. Or where were you raised? So don't be discouraged. Okay. So we just want to say gracias a ti, Señor Myron. por tu tiempo, por tu energía,
Es un placer.
por tu creatividad. Por favor, everybody, follow him again. Sígalo en My Journey to Fluency on TikTok y también en Instagram. And just embrace and become, like he says, the best Spanish-speaking version of yourself. Yeah. Amen. Yeah, we got to say amen because there's like some powerful stuff there. So we will definitely be making some more duets. Just got to figure out everything going on. And I hope all of you have a phenomenal day. Please, again, follow him in My Journey to Fluency on TikTok and Instagram. Follow me, Jessie Feliz, at Jessie Feliz Plus. Check out my website, jessiefeliz.com. And let's just all stay connected. Be blessed, everyone. Stay safe. Get some Lysol because I do not trust people. Wash your hands 20 seconds underneath las uñitas, okay, underneath them fingernails. Love you all and have a wonderful day. Ciao.
Nos vemos.
Hey, tengo un secreto, escúchame bien por un rato.